Hey mamas, it's Kristen, the Small Biz Mama, and I wanted to do a video talking about kind of a roundup for how I did for January's goals, what worked, what didn't work, and talk to you a little bit about my goals for February, hoping that this will help inspire you to keep going forward. Um, so one thing that I think has worked so far is I did a Brendon Burchard style battle board. And if you Google Brendon Burchard battle board, you can get a video where he talks about this concept. But essentially, what I did for mine is I put together goals in key areas that are important to me this year. So for me, I have a business goal, a like health goal, or kind of like an overall goal, a course or a class or some education that I want to do, a hobby, books, and then I write down milestone dates and wins for the month. So, and I have one for each month. They're on brightly colored paper and they're up on my wall. I'll share a picture so you guys can see that. Okay, so here's January. So my goal for January was to have 100 sales in bookkeeper training school during the month of January. We ended the month with 171. So I'm going to check that off as a win. That was crazy. And actually 100 was kind of like a stretch goal based off of our numbers. So I'm really, really excited about that. That's amazing. My second goal is what I'm calling 25 days of better health. And so I have 6 items that I'm tracking on a daily basis. And if I complete 4 of the 6, then I consider that a better health day. And my 6 items are exercise, stretching, eating dark leafy greens twice a day, meditating, journaling, and practicing gratitude. So, so there's some physical things, there's diet thing, there's, some mental health things. And so I hit that goal. I hit at least 4 of 6. I think 27 of the 31 days. So that was really good. So super excited about that. And the reason that I did 4 of 6 is because 4 of 6 is progress, right? I think that's really good progress. If I remember to do 4 of those things every single day, I know I'm going to feel better at the end of the month, and at the end of the year. So that's something I'm really excited about. My education was to finish Brendon Burchard's High Performance Academy. It's something I've actually owned for years. And I went to his live event about 3 years ago. But I never finished the course. So I went through, I have 1 more video left to finish. And I will finish that tomorrow morning. And then I'll be done with that. So for hobby, I wanted to do piano practice 20 times this month. I did 10, which is better than I have been doing at 0. So not a complete win, but it's definitely progress, right? And that's a lot of what I'm shooting for. Is I'm shooting for progress. I'm not shooting for, that everything has to be perfect. I'm not saying I have to practice piano every day. I'm trying for 20 days. And actually, I'm really happy with this because I think it was like the 15th or the 16th of the month. I'm like, oh crap. Like I haven't even practiced at all. And so I started practicing at that point. So if you consider that I didn't start until the end of the month, hitting 10 was pretty good. And then I want to read 2 books a month. I didn't read any books last month. I skimmed a couple books. I read most of Oh Crap Potty Training because we potty trained Eric this month. So I guess I could say I read 1 book, right? Because I read most of that book again. So I'm going to give myself credit for 1 of 2 books because I just realized that. I think with doing I was doing the Brendon Burchard course, which is usually when I listen to audiobooks. Um, and I was still trying to kind of figure out the book I wanted to read for business. I wanted to read Motivation Manifesto. There is no audio for that. Usually what I do is my business book is an audiobook, and my fiction book is a paperback. And I read a lot of magazines that I had like in my basket. I just didn't read the books. So I'm okay with that. Because I read a lot. It just wasn't in the form that I thought it was going to take. So, I think sometimes, the reason I like having these goals and then kind of reflecting back on them is that I think a lot of times we kind of were hard on ourselves, but we don't realize, like, wait a minute, we did do a lot, right? It might not have been exactly what we thought we were going to do, but we did something. So, so I think I did all right. I'm having my greens for lunch. Okay, so what are my goals for February? So it's kind of interesting. Those of you that know me, you know that I have kind of three very distinct things that I'm doing, right? So I'm a tax accountant, and I have tax clients, and it's tax season. And then I have bookkeeper training school, and then I also teach tax classes at a university. So you're gonna kind of see as you walk through the year with me that there are months where I have to kind of pivot and go from one project to another, while still having, the other ones in the background. But so for February, my business goal is actually to finish all partnership and S Corp tax returns by the end of the month. Because my goal is to finish all of tax season by April 1st. So if I can get all of my partnerships and S Corps done 15 days early, then that'll set me up to get the individuals done during the month of March. So we'll see how that goes. But we implemented a new onboarding system, and it's gone really, really well so far. So I think we're going to be okay. I'm going to do the Better Health Days again, the 25 days. This month I actually have 2 educational goals. I have a course that I purchased that doesn't start until the 13th of the month. So for the first half of the month, I'm going to be working on the Steps to Everyday Productivity course, which is Eric and April Perry's course from Learn, Do, Become. And I love the course. I've gone through not even half of it, but like I've learned so much from them. I want to finish up that course in the first 2 weeks of the month, and then switch over to the Make Time course, which one of the books that I'm actually going to reread is that book, because it was a fantastic book. So they're just launching their course. I bought the course, and I can't wait to go in that when it opens up in February. So we're going to go back. We're going to do more piano practice this month. A, because I want to become better at it, and B, because it fits in nicely with tax season. It's something that I don't have to go out and do. It's not a class I'm going to take. And so piano practice 20 times this month. And then my 2 books that I want to read. So I want to re-listen to the Make Time book before my class starts on the 13th. And then I want to read The Red Queen, which is a book that I picked up at Barnes & Noble. Kind of the cover looked interesting, and then the premise looked interesting. It's a fantasy, kind of sci-fi fantasy novel, but the premise sounded really interesting. So I want to pick that up this month as well. So, definitely some things that worked this month were things like when I had my planner with me and filled out, I had way more productive days. When I did a really good weekly review and loaded up Asana with things to do, and then every day took things out of Asana and put them in my planner, though, like, those were the times where things went really, really well. When I was kind of laxed about that and didn't really do my weekly review as well as I should have, and that's when I had less productive weeks. So I really have to make sure, like, when I'm done with this video, I'm actually going to sit down with my planner, make sure that the entire week, is kind of planned out. I know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing. Because that, I think, is super helpful for me. And then, find those moments when I can fit in piano practice, and I think I say, okay, I really need half an hour to practice, but if I get 10 minutes into practice, it's better than doing none, and so I think sometimes my expectation of what is progress needs to adjust a little bit. So let me know how your month went. I hope you're doing a little bit of a review, and let me know if you have any questions about any of the strategies I'm using, any of the courses I mentioned or books I mentioned. I'm happy to help you out however I can. All right, guys, have a great rest of your week. Take care.